Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Minute AI with Cesar. Today I want to talk about RAG or retrieval augmented generation. So I want to give you an example, and then for today we are going to use Llama Index Framework and NVIDIA NIM APIs to get this working. So I'll go through the code a bit later. For now, I'm going to explain what is RAG or why are we doing this RAG methodology for some use cases. So to begin with, let's say you have a long text documents or like long PDFs, and you want to get an answer for your question based on this context that you see here. So the way we are going to do this is take that, I mean, for simplicity's sake, take a text document. Now divide the text document into different subsegments or different chunks. And now these chunks are sent into a model called embedding model. So this is a model. So there are two models involved in RAG. One is an embedding model where we are converting these chunks into some numbers, vector basically, and then storing this vector in a vector database. At the same time, now these chunks, like the small segments, are stored in a vector database. At the same time, a user or like someone asks a question, and then this question is also converted into a vector using the same embedding model. Now, this question is compared with the chunks that we have, and then we select like the top 20, 30 relevant chunks, and then send these chunks together with the question to LLM. Now the LLM kind of answers within this context. So it's not going out of like its scope or basically going out to internet and randomly hallucinating something. Rather than that, it is answering within the context and then it sends back the answer to the user. So for this, I mean, as I said, there are two models involved. Here I'm using NVIDIA NIM APIs. So for retrieval or basically the embedding model, I'm using NV Embed QA E5V5. It's an API. I'm just calling the model into my code. And at the same time, for reasoning, I'm using Mistral 7B Instruct V3. So this model. Let me check if I'm using Mistral or Llama. Okay, cool. I'm actually using Meta Llama. So I'm using Llama 3.18B model. So both models I'm just getting via NVIDIA NIM APIs. So coming to coding, so I'm using a framework called Llama Index. Remember I talked about converting this into chunks, storing this into a vector database, comparing the question with the vector database. All of this is kind of like if you actually start writing code, it gets becoming big and big. So instead of that, you just call like Llama Index, like a cool library. So basically, I'm calling like the settings, like the data store, I mean, database to store the chunks and just a simple directory reader, calling your text file or basically your file to read in and like convert that into chunks. So yeah, put your API key, I have mine, and then I stored the text file in the data folder. I'm basically loading the text file. I'm setting up the model for both LLM and embedding model here. After that, here I'm like splitting the chunks or splitting the text into different chunks and basically storing them. And whenever I have a question, I'm sending that question to the query engine, and basically this goes back, checks relevant chunks, and provide you an answer. Here I asked a question, what are some characteristics of lions? So for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna show you the data quickly. So the data is in a file.txt. So basically here you can see lions or big cats that live in Africa. They have light blue and pale gold fur and male have manes. So there is like some text here that you can see. Okay, time to run the code and see if it works. So all I'm trying to do is running this code. I have the APIs connected. You can check the code if you want. So basically I'm running the code and basically Python app.py. And I already asked the question. If you remember in my code here, basically I put a question called what are some characteristics of lions? So all I'm doing now is like running the code and now it whatever we talked, split the document, go talk with the embedding model, convert these smaller chunks into vectors, when I ask the question, what are some characteristics of lions, this gets converted into vector. And you can see lions are big cats that live in Africa. They have light blue and pale gold fur in and males have manes. So it kind of captured the right answer from from the data. So let me quickly go to the data again, and you can see the file.txt here. So there are like a lot of other information, but it kind of provided the key characteristics of lion. So that's what we want. And now imagine, I mean, I'm just giving you an example. So this is more like a simple example, right? But let's say you have like ton of data on like different insurance policies, and for healthcare, let's say you have some plan in Blue Cross Blue Shield and you want to know whether this procedure is covered under your insurance. So basically there will be a huge text file like this, and all you got to do is like go ask the question, and then it will find the relevant answer about that procedure, whether it is covered under your insurance or not. This is just an example. I mean, there are several customer care support examples that you can quickly do, and like get a relevant answer only from the context, not something that the LLMs hallucinate out of nowhere, or getting some random answer from internet. Yeah, cool. I hope you learned something, and let me know how the videos are, and it would be great to get your feedback or just a shout out or a like or subscribe. Please follow my videos for more content. Thank you.